Hi, I'm Amy with ResNexus. I'm going to go over gift certificates, credit vouchers, scheduled deposits, and so much more. Let's go ahead and get started. So we're going to start with credit vouchers. What are they? Why are they useful? And how do they work? So let's start with what are they? So credit vouchers are very similar to gift certificates. They allow you to give a guest a credit for a future stay. Let's say that they weren't able to stay with you because, I don't know, COVID or maybe a family emergency. So that just allows you to give them a credit. Okay, once you have created a credit voucher for the guest, the system will save the details for you for that credit card voucher, so there's no manual tracking on your part. Okay. Why are they useful for your business? They help protect your business when something unexpected happens and the guest can't stay with you. Rather than giving a refund that would then charge you a processing fee, it allows your guest to have that credit for a future stay. Which, like I just said, it saves you money on those processing fees. So it just kind of helps you out with some of those general costs. So how do they work? You create a credit voucher the same way you do with creating a gift certificate. You can send out an email just like you can do right now with gift certificates, or you can send out a hard copy in the snail mail so they have their own record. And they can redeem that credit voucher over the phone or even online at a later time if they want to go ahead and book that reservation online. ResNexus will track the purchase price, the amount that they used, and the remaining balance for you, so you don't have to do any manually tracking on your part. You know, this was a big thing, especially for COVID. If you guys can remember back forever ago, which wasn't that forever ago, right? Where everybody was calling up and they wanted refunds for their future stays because, you know, we didn't know when travel was going to come back. So you create those vouchers. That way, instead of doing refund after refund after refund after refund, you have these credits that are out there, so they can just use that money for that later stay. So it also helps them come back to your property instead of going and doing something else. So that's gift certificates and credit vouchers. So how we actually set it up is you're going to go into the reservation, you're going to hit gift certificates, you're going to hit add gift certificate. Okay, up here you're going to say when it expires. That is kind of the information up here. You also have your gift certificate amount. You're going to hit other. You're going to put in that custom amount. So for this reservation that we're doing, it's going to be like $17, $15, $25. Okay, so after we put in that custom amount, then the next thing is to put who it's from. So we're going to put it from our property, and we're going to go ahead and put in the recipient's name and information in there. You can also see this has a special note that says the gift certificate is for the reservation 1973. Okay, that's the reservation that they're canceling. And we're applying that voucher to. Okay, don't forget to hit create at the bottom. Okay, now you can kind of see we did put that in. It's $17.51 and 25 cents. So if we go and hit rooms up at the top right hand side, okay, and then we're gonna go ahead and hit that little checkbox. That checkbox is really nice because it's gonna uncheck all those nights. Okay, this is really nice for if you have a whole bunch of nights that the guests are staying, so maybe they're staying 7 nights or maybe even 14 nights, okay? So we're gonna uncheck that box, and then once we uncheck that box, it unchecks all the nights, and we're gonna go ahead and hit remove. Okay, so now you'll see that all that's left is that gift certificate with that amount, and our remaining balance due is 0, okay? That's simple. So to make sure everything is set up, okay, you can hit gift certificates and send if it is already set up. Okay, if you don't have it already set up, you'll want to go in and go to marketing there on the left hand side. Then you're going to hit gift certificates and just make sure it's active. If it's not active, then just reach out to us maybe during your one-on-ones and we can help you set up those credit vouchers. Okay? And anything that we go over today, if you have need any help getting any of this set up, just let us know. We love to sit here and help you guys get some of these fun features set up in your system. So the next thing is scheduled deposits. This is a really useful feature that we've implemented. This allows you to set up an automatic payment to collect the remaining balance of the reservations so many days prior to the guest's arrival. Imagine how much time this will save so you don't have to manually go in and process those remaining payments anymore. This is really nice. I've seen a lot of people, especially like your vacation rentals and even like the RV parks, who have gone in and said, okay, well, so much is due, like the remaining balance is due so much before a guest arrive. I have a property in New York who's been with us for about 10, 11 years now. And she's a vacation rental right there in the Bronx. And what she does is she always would have it where reservations were due 30 days prior to arrival. They had to have their whole reservation paid in full. So now the system automatically does that for you. So let's show you how to get that set up. So we're going to go into settings, credit card processing, and options. From there, you're going to look at your scheduled deposits. Okay, we're going to click the box to automatically collect the deposit of. You're going to put in that 100% of the remaining balance. So collecting the deposit so many days prior to arrival. Now, I have a lot of properties that ask, well, what do most properties put in here? This is actually like a property preference. So like I said, I have a vacation rental up in New York. She auto collects 100% or the remaining balance 30 days prior to arrival. So that's kind of her business model. I've seen other properties do 14 days prior to arrival, where they collect the remaining balance. I've seen people go as little as like 3 to 5 days prior to arrival, they collect the remaining balance. So it's kind of up to, what are you looking to do? What are you trying to achieve? You know, like I said, vacation rentals, I've seen a lot of those guys do like your 30 days prior to arrival. Campgrounds, I have a couple of properties that 60 days prior to arrival, they collect the remaining balance, especially for those seasonal stays that are staying for the whole season. I've seen some B&Bs that really want it collected, the full balance, 3 days prior to arrival. So kind of go and look, you know, what are you comfortable with? What are you looking for? That's kind of what I've seen recently. So do you want a notification when a scheduled deposit has processed successfully? Then you're going to go ahead and check that box. I definitely recommend this one right here, which is send a notification when a scheduled deposit fails to process. That way you know when a guest hasn't, like maybe that credit card got declined, and maybe it's because the expiration date has expired, or maybe the card was lost or stolen. That way you can give them a call and say, hey, just so you know, the remaining balance is due. I just need to update that credit card on file. Okay. Then don't forget to hit that magical save button at the very bottom, because we definitely want to save those changes. Okay, so the next thing is custom fields. Custom fields offer a great way to collect useful and necessary information from your guests during the checkout process. You can also use this feature in the back office to record if your staff tried to upsell something when making a reservation. It's used for a lot of different features. I have a property that uses this feature. We enabled it just the other day for him. So he offers a complimentary bottle of champagne when a guest checks in. But you have some people who don't like champagne and they would prefer water. So he put on the booking engine, would you rather champagne or would you rather water at check-in? That way the guest can let him know which one they would prefer. So to set this up, we're going to go ahead and go into Settings, Custom Fields, and Add Field. So before I hit Add Field, the thing is you have your Guest Custom Field, and the Guest Custom Field is for it will go with the guest from reservation to reservation. Your reservation custom field just goes for that specific reservation. So it's not going to repeat each time they rebook with you, okay? So when you hit create, it's going to take you in here and you're going to put in a name. So you're going to name it whatever you want. Okay, you're going to have this little drop down, which is going to be a checkbox, a date checkbox, or it's also going to be a notes field. Okay, abbreviation, required. So are you going to make this a required field on the booking engine or on the guest checkout? Okay, display on. Do you want this display on the back office guest page? Do you want it to also be displayed on the booking engine? So if you do have it displaying on the booking engine, you also want to make sure that you have it on the back office on the guest page. That way it shows up in the back office for you. Okay, so what you'll notice is the notes field on the booking engine makes it so that they can go in and type in the information in that little box. So this is what it's going to look like if it's a guest note field. Maybe this is what it's going to be if it's a reservation note field. So, you know, your driver's license, those are going to be constant. Those numbers are always going to be the same. So maybe you want that information to go from reservation to reservation. Where a reservation note is your dietary needs. So maybe the guest doesn't necessarily need those dietary restrictions to go from reservation to reservation. And maybe it just needs to apply for just this one particular reservation. So checkbox fields on the booking engine, you'll see, it just applies a little checkbox right in front of it. Here's your date box, checkout date, okay? Then you have your notes field on the back office. It's the same thing, so it's just gonna show, here's your guest information. It's a little smaller box, but same thing, just go in and type in all that information. Same thing with the reservation information. Okay, if it's a checkbox, so there's your checkbox for a guest and your checkbox for a reservation. Okay, so a couple things to keep in mind with that is these settings are customizable and you may opt to mix and match a variety of different things. So maybe you want a notes field and you want a checkbox. Whatever you need to kind of meet your needs. Double check your spelling. So this is what a guest is going to see on your booking engine. You want to make sure that the grammar's correct, the spelling's correct. If you're like me, I go ahead and put that in a Word document to just double check my spelling to make sure everything's accurate. Okay. If you make it a specific requirement that the guests have to enter notes or checkbox, just know that they will receive an error. So if you don't want it to be required, then you don't need to check that box. But if you do really want to collect that information, make sure you make that a requirement. That way it will stop the guest from booking until that field has been put in. So extending your reservation, this is kind of a fun feature. So if you haven't extended a reservation from the grid before, this is super fast and simple. Extending a reservation means that you are adding one or more nights to the end of a guest reservation. So here we have our reservation is 3 nights, and Jenny's called us up and she said that she wants to go ahead and add 2 more nights to the reservation. So we're just going to check mark those 2 boxes. We're going to go ahead and hit extend on that. So what you'll see is that before extending, they have just those 3 nights. And then after they have extended, it says this reservation has been extended by 2 nights, and it just shows those 2 additional nights right there. So now you have Expedia promotions. The point of the Expedia promotions is Expedia goes ahead and they offer promotions inside their system. But now instead of having to go from ResNexus into Expedia and managing everything in Expedia, we're trying to make it a little bit easier and smoother for you. So you can go ahead and offer those Expedia promotions right there on Expedia's, in ResNexus for Expedia. So you could do it all in ResNexus. This just makes it so that it's all in one place for you. So to do that, you're going to go into Settings, Direct Connect, and Expedia. Once you're in there, you're going to go ahead and hit Promotions there on the right-hand side. From there, you're going to go ahead and hit Create. Okay, then in here, you're going to go ahead and name it. So this is the name that they're going to see in Expedia when the guest is making that reservation. Okay, then you have your status, which is it active and live on Expedia, or is it inactive? And you just select inactive by doing that little drop-down bar. Okay, what are the effective start dates and the effective end dates? So this is when do you want them to be able to see that on Expedia's website. And the stay date, start date, and stay date, end date is right there. So I'll give you an example. So right before Christmas, I was talking to a couple properties, and they had a promotion on their Expedia account that was Give the Gift. So the name on it was Give the Gift of Travel. So that was their name. And what it was is it started on December 17th, and then it ended the middle of January. And they could stay anywhere between, I want to say it was December 26th all the way to the middle of January. So your effective start date was like the 17th of December, even though they couldn't stay until like right there after Christmas, okay? Then you have your minimum advance notice, your maximum advance notice. You have your minimum stay length, so maybe to get this discount, you require them to stay at least 2 nights, okay? So then you have your different discount types. You have your single discount type. Now this goes off of the base rate, so if let's say that you want 10% off of your base rate, you're going to put 10% in that first little box. Then the plus members only, so what that is if they're an Expedia member and you want to give them an additional 5% off, so you have 10% off of your base rate, and then an additional 5% if they're a member. So if they're a member, they're essentially going to get 15% off of that base rate that we send over to Expedia, okay? I have some people that put in an amount in that members only percent, and I have some properties that leave that at 0, okay? So then you have your days of the week. So this is if you only want certain days of the week to be eligible for that discount, maybe because your weekends are always so busy you don't want to have that discount on the weekends, but maybe you want to give a 10 or 15% off on those weekdays. Okay, applies to your rate plan. So right here you want to go ahead and check each of the boxes for the rooms that you want that promotion to apply to. Usually you have at least one rate plan per room, so you go ahead and check those boxes. Then you have your blackout dates. This is a big one for, like I was saying, I've seen people who on these, they don't want people to stay maybe on the weekends. This is a way to do that. This discount is 10% off, right? But then go and say here on the weekends, I'm blacking it out, so they can't book it on the weekends. It also allows for, let's say you're doing a discount for all of April and you don't want this discount to apply for Easter, you can go ahead and black out that Easter time period that you want for that discount, okay? So flags, what this does is this flags certain people, maybe people who are only using mobile devices get this discounts, or only people who are members get this discount. So maybe instead of doing so much off of the base rate, maybe this is a members only special where you give them 5% off for being members. So you can check that box, so it's members only get to see it, okay? And then you hit save. Don't forget to hit save. Once you've hit save, it goes ahead and will put all that information right up here, so you can kind of double check your work. You can see the name, you can see the effective dates, all just right there. Okay, so then we have Airbnb messaging. This allows you to communicate with your guests through Airbnb directly from within ResNexus. So to do that, when you're going to go into Settings, Direct Connect, Airbnb, what you're looking for is if it has this little blue box. This just means that, yes, you are connected to Airbnb, but you just still need to connect the messaging. So you're going to go ahead and hit that connect with Airbnb again. And once you do that, that's going to change to connection verified. That way, all of the Airbnb messages will now come in through ResNexus. Okay, so what happens is it works just like it does with text messaging. So the little message box will let you know that you have a message. And then it will let you know that it is an Airbnb message because it will tell you right there that it is Airbnb. And you can just respond right back here from just typing everything in and hitting send, and it will automatically send to the guest. So that's really your Airbnb messaging. So once you connect your Airbnb messaging, you'll be able to receive those messages right there on your phone, if you have that connected to your phone, or right there in the system, so you can go ahead and just respond right there from the system. Past messages will not pull over from Airbnb. It's only going to be your future messages that will come over. So Google Hotels and their free link. We're going to go over how to set up. You won't be charged for any of the reservations made through the free link. This is just one of Google's free things that they do. This is unless you, like, if you do the free link, that's one thing, and then you also have your Google Ads. Google does still charge for the Google Ads stuff, which you can also set up in ResNexus. So first you're going to go into Direct Connect. Okay, so settings, Direct Connect. Then you're going to hit Add Channel. And then in here you're going to go ahead and hit Add Channel under Google Hotels. Okay, so when you start, you'll see that there's just that one box checked, that one little green checkbox. You're going to go ahead and hit Link Account down here at the bottom. Okay, once you hit Link Account, all of those should change from the stop hand sign to having all 4 bubbles checked. That way you know everything's good. That's all you actually have to do. And that says that the channel's opened. It says that your channel has been configured and your property has been submitted and it's been marked as live. Now these are pretty instant. They happen pretty much after you get that account linked. It can take, I have seen it take up to 3 to 5 days for those to actually all go and be configured. So if it doesn't all go green right up front, just know that it could take up to 3 to 5 days. If it's been 5 days and they haven't been checked, you want to stop and think, is my business considered a hotel on Google? If the answer to that is no, then like a campground, let's say it's a campground. Right now, Google doesn't accept campgrounds to be on this. From what I've seen, they'll stop you because it's only for hotels. I've seen the same thing with vacation rentals where they're like, no, this is just for hotels. So you want to look and say, do I fall under the hotel category or am I under a different category? If you're not showing up with all 4 checked, but you are seen as a hotel on Google, then reach out to us and we'll go through and see if there's anything we can see that might be blocking it from going. So in conclusion, what you're looking for is to make sure that all 4 of those circles turn green and look good. Okay, and that's how you know that you're all set up with Google Hotels. Thank you everybody for taking the time to go over some of these new features in ResNexus. So to kind of just recap, we went over credit vouchers, scheduled deposits, some of the custom filled stuff, extending your stay, Expedia, promotions, Airbnb messaging, and Google Hotels. Any of these, if you need help getting those set up, we can definitely help you get these set up in your one-on-ones. All of our staff is very educated on how to help you get these set up in ResNexus. Thanks so much.